Alpha Pokemon. Released for the first time in Pokemon Legends Arceus, these are known as the biggest, baddest, and most fierce wild Pokemon we've ever seen. But if that's the case, then who's this guy?
Huh?
In the Pokemon community, shiny hunters are always looking for fun and unique shinies to add to their collections, from rare forms to marked Pokemon to simply just big or small shiny Pokemon. As such, trying to catch a shiny Alpha Pokemon, or Shalfa Pokemon, is one of the most popular things to do in Legends Arceus, because of how fun and rare they are to collect, and simply because of how comically large they are compared to their regular forms. However, after doing some digging, I stumbled across something a little weird. I don't know if this was intentional or simply a coding oversight, but there are actually 5 Pokemon in Legends Arceus whose regular forms can be even bigger than their Alpha forms. And as soon as I saw that, I knew what had to be done. I would shiny hunt the largest of these anomalies and become the owner of the true biggest shiny Pokemon in the game. And I gave myself just 1 week to see if I could find one. Let's get into it. My main target for this run was to catch either a giant shiny Onix or Steelix, as these are the Pokemon who have the biggest discrepancy to their Alpha forms. But first, I had a couple of learning curves to overcome. 1, figure out the best shiny hunting method for my targets. 2, how to improve my shiny odds to the best they could be. And 3, relearning the controls. Because although Legends Arceus is my favourite Pokemon game on the Switch, it's been nearly 2 years since I last played it. Oh, ow, ow, oh. Damn it. Well, what's the point of having this charm then? Luckily, I managed to pick the controls up quickly enough as I went, so let's move on to my shiny hunting plan. In Legends Arceus, the base odds of finding a shiny Pokemon are the typical 1 in 4096. However, by obtaining the shiny charm and perfecting the Pokedex of a particular Pokemon, you can actually improve these odds to 1 in 586, which is nuts. But even more than that, there's one more reason why shiny hunting in Legends Arceus is so popular, and that's because of mass outbreaks and massive mass outbreaks. These guarantee spawns of a particular Pokemon from 8 to 25 encounters at a time. So, if you find a mass outbreak, have the shiny charm, and have perfected the Pokedex for a certain Pokemon, you technically have a 1 in 128 chance of finding a shiny in an outbreak, which is pretty darn high in shiny hunting terms. So that was my plan. First, I would perfect the Pokedex entries of Onix and Steelix, and then go hunting for their outbreaks. And before I knew it, I would be swimming in shiny Pokemon. Right? Day 1 had passed and I hadn't found a single shiny yet. Once I discovered what I needed to do, it pretty much took the whole of the first day to perfect the Pokedex entries of Onix and Steelix, and the rest of the time was spent crafting Pokeballs and figuring out what my process would be for this shiny hunt. But now that my route was established and all the groundwork was done, I was confident that I would reap my rewards on day 2. The only issue was actually finding Onix or Steelix outbreaks. My process went like this. First, check if there were any outbreaks in the Coronet Highlands or Crimson Mirelands. If there were, I'd head there, save the game, speak to Mai to see if any were Onix, and if not, reload the game and head back to Jubilife Village. If there were not any outbreaks though, I'd instead head to the Coronet Highlands mountain camp, quickly check the 2 local Onix and Alpha Steelix that were there to see if any were shiny, and if not, once again head back to Jubilife and repeat the process. During this grinding though, I only found 1 Onix outbreak in the first hour. Something didn't feel right. Later, I'd figure out what that was, but with Onix proving difficult to find, my head soon got turned by something on the map that I could not ignore. A marked Rhyhorn outbreak. There are 2 types of marked outbreaks that can appear in massive mass outbreaks. One gives you Agrap berries which you can feed to Munchlax, and the other guarantees a second wave of Pokemon spawning in once you clear out the first wave. This second wave can be anything from evolved forms of Pokemon to Alpha forms of the Pokemon. So with Rhyperior being one of the 5 Pokemon that can have a regular form bigger than its Alpha form, I had to check this out. If I couldn't get a shiny Onix or Steelix, I would at least want to find a giant shiny of one of the other 3 anomalies. So yeah, I casually rocked up to the outbreak, and before even getting to that second wave, I found a shiny. Oh my god, yes! We finally got one! Shiny Rhyhorn! Oh, he looks small. I don't care! That's our first shiny, yes! Get in the ball. Oh yeah, we got him. So it's at this point that I'd normally nickname my new shiny and continue hunting elsewhere. But in Legends Arceus, we do something different with mass outbreaks. Well, it was nice knowing you. Bye-bye, shiny Rhyhorn. Yep, I reset my game. Why? Well, this shiny Rhyhorn I found on day 2 was good and all, but he was just a bit of an average guy, 3'4". In comparison, big Rhyhorns can grow up to 3'11", so this guy wasn't going to grow into a particularly big Rhyperior, as proven by me evolving it. Look, here's my evolved shiny Rhyhorn, and here's an alpha Rhyperior. It's still a long way off. So on day 3, I went searching for another shiny in the same outbreak. Thanks to saving the game before talking to Mai and finding that shiny Rhyhorn, I could do this by using a shiny hunting method I like to call mass outbreak manipulation. The theory behind this can sound complicated at first, but once you learn it, it isn't so bad. Trust me. In any outbreak within Legends Arceus, the first 4 Pokemon you see will always be the same. However, the Pokemon that spawn in after these can change depending on what you do next. For example, I found my shiny Rhyhorn by catching everything in sight, and in the second wave, nothing else significant appeared, just a whole load of Rhydon. But when I instead decided to knock out some of the Rhyhorn in the first wave, no shiny Rhyhorn appeared, and instead this happened in the second wave. Oh, yes, Rhydon! Shiny Rhydon, it does work! Oh, it works after all! Oh, it opens up so many options! Oh, damn it. Is he big? He's kind of small, isn't he? I don't know. Okay, that's great though. Progress! God, just stay in this. Ow, ow. Oh god. Okay, stay in the ball. Okay, just get out of here before I die. We got him though. We got him. There's so many great videos out there from other YouTubers explaining this method better than I ever could. But basically, by knocking out 2 or more Pokemon at once, the game struggles to compute what's happened and changes the future spawns of Pokemon that appear in the outbreak. This gives you even more chance to find a shiny by going through a whole load of permutations and knocking out different combinations of Pokemon to find a shiny in an outbreak that you may not have found in the first attempt. And this method works way more in your favor if you have a guaranteed second wave that will spawn in. But alas, like I said, this shiny Rhyhorn was even shorter than the first shiny Rhyhorn I found. And for the rest of the day, after trying about 20 different combinations of mass outbreaks, I found no further shinies and eventually had to settle for keeping the first Rhyhorn. And luckily for me, I could claim that back as if nothing had happened by just catching everything from the start of the outbreak again, just like I did the first time I found it. And that wrapped up day 3. But now that I knew this shiny hunting method would work, all I had to do was find a suitable Onix outbreak in the remaining days to try and grab that giant shiny Onix I was really craving. Throughout this entire challenge, I really felt like I was taking 2 steps forward and then 1 step back. First, I figured out how to shiny hunt, then I struggled to find a single shiny. Then I discovered the mass outbreak manipulation method, thinking that would all but guarantee me a shiny on any marked outbreak I saw, only to discover on day 4 that was really not the case. Struggling to find an Onix outbreak again, I found yet another marked outbreak of one of my targets, this time for Rhydon in Crimson Mirelands. But what can I say? After struggling greatly for another couple of hours with my newfound shiny hunting method, I found nothing. Which once again put me back in my place and reminded me how difficult this challenge could still be. I wasn't just struggling to find a big shiny Pokemon, I was struggling to find shiny Pokemon at all. I mean, heck, I was still struggling to even find an Onix outbreak. Where were they? But I'm glad I finally questioned that because that made me recheck the locations in which it could spawn. And it turns out I'd been making a pretty major mistake for the past 3 days. Seeing as Onix typically spawn in the Coronet Highlands, I assumed its outbreaks would also spawn in this location. But nope, Onix outbreaks only spawn in the Crimson Mirelands and the Cobalt Coastlands. I had it wrong this entire time! So yeah, no wonder I was finding it so hard to find an Onix outbreak. And wouldn't you know, as soon as a massive mass outbreak appeared in the Cobalt Coastlands, I went straight there and... Onix outbreak. Boy, do I regret my actions! But as mentioned, things still weren't quite working out for me. Every Onix outbreak I found produced 0 shiny Onix, and I was yet to find the holy grail I was really searching for, the marked Onix outbreak. Right now, it really felt like that was my only ticket to glory. But hey, surely something had to work soon, right? And yeah, it kinda did. Because nearing the end of day 4, I found another marked outbreak of Rhydon in the Crimson Mirelands, only to be left disappointed again, even with doing all of the mass outbreak manipulation strategies. Again. I was getting frustrated, so with the second marked outbreak on my screen at the time, I checked the Murkrow outbreak for a bit of fun and a change of scenery before resetting the outbreaks again. And yes, I think you all know what happened next. Are you kidding me? Oh my... You just knew it was going to happen, didn't you? I move away from Rhyhorn outbreaks just once. No shinies elsewhere, but I immediately find a shiny Honchkrow, don't I? So clearly at this point I was looking for a marked Onix outbreak, but now I was no longer stupidly looking in the Coronet Highlands. It did start to feel like I was getting somewhere as Onix outbreaks began to appear more frequently. Still, I persisted though, and at one point I just happened to stumble into the Coronet Highlands when a massive mass outbreak appeared. So I scoped it out a little bit, and by pure chance, I got extremely lucky. Oh my god! What? Is that an alpha? No way! Oh, don't die. Oh, come on. Get it. Hit him. How many balls does it take to stop an alpha? Come on. There we are. Right, get in the ball. Ow. Yes, let's go. Shiny Alpha Rhyhorn! I'm not even looking for alphas though! I don't know the chances of that happening, but oh my god is it rare! And unintentionally, I now caught a shiny Alpha Rhyhorn. And now Choco has a big sister to look up to. Still though, this discovery was a little worrying. Because look, there's still a big size difference between my two shiny Rhyhorn, as Choco isn't a particularly big guy. And a regular Rhyhorn can't grow bigger than their alpha forms, because that only applies to Rhyperia. But during my travels, I'd now managed to catch a 3'11" non-shiny Rhyhorn, and this is the biggest possible height a Rhyhorn can reach. So, after evolving it into a Rhyperia, how would it compare up to an Alpha Rhyperia? Here we go. Here's our non-Alpha. Oh, that's a big guy! And now here's our Alpha! Wait, what? Did I get that right? No, wait, that can't be right. What? Here's the non-Alpha. Yeah, he's 9'5". Well, if that's the case, why is he smaller? No! Don't you dare tell me I've wasted an entire week for nothing. Don't you dare! Oh, no! Why didn't I check this before? Had I wasted the past week of my life? It certainly felt like it. But there was still a sliver of hope I could hold on to. Because although Rhyperia is one of the big 5 Pokemon who can outgrow their alpha, it only outgrows it by 4 inches. A large Onix, however, has the potential to outgrow its alpha form by up to 2 foot 9 inches. So maybe, just maybe, things would be different with a giant Onix. I just had to find one. So I picked myself back up and went again. And it felt like destiny when almost immediately after, I found the Holy Grail, a marked Onix outbreak in the Cobalt Coastlands. Surely this was it. Surely here is where I would find my first shiny Onix or Steelix. But it was nothing but a tease. No matter how many different combinations I tried with the mass outbreak manipulation method, I was left empty-handed. No shiny. And now just 2 days remained. This was now the final push. One weekend to up my game and try not to just find my first shiny Onix, but also hunt down the biggest one in existence. But straight away, I had to check out a couple of Rhyhorn outbreaks in the Crimson Islands because, hey, look, there were 3 on the map at once, okay? And one of them was marked. Surely a shiny was waiting for me here somewhere. Considering I knew I couldn't grab a shiny bigger than the alpha though, I just went for a one and done approach. No mass outbreak manipulation, let's just see what the outbreaks have for us on our first attempt. Marked outbreak complete, nothing. But on to the second outbreak, and, well, we got Rhyhorn number 3 of the week. Oh, hey, we got another one. He looks kind of small, doesn't he? He looks kind of small. Well, I wasn't expecting that to happen, but hey, third shiny Rhyhorn of the week anyway. Nice. Let's hope this is the start of something now. So we completed a trio of shiny Rhyhorn, and I could never be upset about finding another shiny, but this guy was even smaller. He's 3 foot flat. He's just a little short king. And in my mind, this was just a stepping stone onto greater things. The hunt for the first shiny Onix continued. All I could really do was keep on the grind. I refused to end this week without finding a single shiny Onix. That couldn't happen. I was getting moments where it felt like progress was being made. I could feel it in my bones that I'd find a shiny Onix soon. But whether it would be the tall boy I was looking for would entirely be left up to fate. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! It's huge! It's huge! I've caught it already! Oh my god! Oh my god! I gotta find out how tall this is. That looks huge on my screen! Look at it! 33.2! Oh, it's pretty big. It's pretty big. It's not the biggest. The biggest it can be is 34.8. But 33.2 compared to the rest I've caught here. Oh my god, that's a big Onix. It's not as big as an alpha. No, it is! No, it's bigger than an alpha! Oh my god, it's massive! I gotta see this. This is my alpha. Ready? That's an alpha Onix. Here is the new Onix I just caught. How is it smaller? What is going on? No! No! Oh my god. How is this a thing? How does this even work? So, could I catch a shiny even bigger than its alpha form? No, I guess not, huh? But for one very brief moment, this shiny Onix was the biggest shiny in existence. Just look at the size of him when I caught him. He's huge! But yeah, that kind of made my entire week pointless and ruined this entire challenge. Please subscribe to make me feel better. Either way though, there was still one more thing I could do. What happens if I evolve this guy into a Steelix? Could I rescue the video? And could this Onix be even bigger than an Alpha Steelix if I evolve it? Oh boy, look at the size of this dude. Monstrous. My new shiny Steelix is 34'8". Compared to the Alpha, he is 5 foot taller. But what does that look like in game? The Alpha Steelix. And here is our giant shiny Steelix. He's even smaller! Don't lift your head up. That doesn't make you bigger. You absolute fraud!